Um, I will just talk about ang akong nga personal forays into heritage work. Through the years, I started in the early 90s, like Facebook. So it was really networking, no? And in so many ways, we had the advantage of being connected with the best resources. So publishers from Manila, from abroad, um, best writers from Iloilo, we were able to get together and with very good funding from different sources, we were able to come up with many publications. I will now show you several of the publications I was involved with. Slide number one, please. Slide number one. Yeah. Okay. This was one of the first articles that I wrote, and it was in one of the inside pages of a very popular magazine based in Manila with ABS-CBN publications. It was called Food Magazine, and that article that I wrote had no pictures. It was only about a few pages long, but it was like a directory of food, street food of Iloilo. So what I did was, when the deadline came and they told me it's going to come out on this particular month, what I did was I sold the article. I went to SM, lagi ko na kilala, I went down to the admin, introduced myself to Gerlie, Miss Gerlie Boon, and I told her, there's an article that's going to come out and it's about Iloilo. We don't really have much written about our food. So would it be okay if I put mock-ups of notices in standees? And she said yes. Pupangan niya po sa standee in each cashier's counter. No? And I went to Bacolod and did the same. I went to Bookmark, I went to all the different outlets that were selling food magazine. The next year, they told me that was the best-selling issue. And it was by no accident. Yun baligya akong gitsa because I knew that it was very rare that we would have articles that were written about illegal. Next slide. And then, after a few years, when Food Magazine transferred the editorship to Mickey Phoenix, she came out with the first issue, which was provincial cooking all over the Philippines. And we did the cover story. I wrote the cover story. And when we were doing the research work and documentation, one of the food providers that we talked to was Tita Chiling Montelipono. And she said, you know, you had an earlier, you had an earlier article, and she showed me a Xerox copy of the previous article that I wrote. And she said, you know, this has been circulating in Makati Med, and a lot of Ilonggos from Manila come here to my store bringing Xerox copies of this. So even after that article had been published, it had a life of its own. Sige-sige siya. Because there was a thirst for things in Iloilo. No? So, next slide, please. Ang gusto naman na project was Iloilo Edition of the Land. This was published by Lopez B Foundation under Sede Vargas and published by Narsalina Lim, who was then retired as DOT chief. No? And it involved the authors, you have Henry Fontecha, Alicia Magos, Leoncio Derriada, all the Ilonggo greats, including the late Toti Villalon for architecture and Mickey Phoenix for culinary. So, kanami, kay we did that book we did a survey of Iloilo for the culinary section alone. We did it for 1 year. So this book took us about 2.5 years to finish. After that, we had another one. And this was accidental, lagi ni siya yan. This was done by two non-Ilonggos, Mike Santos of Prudential Bank and his partner Rinaldo Gamboa, who was a retired librarian researcher from the New York Public Library. And they came to Iloilo together with Batista Soro and they started knocking doors, calling people up. Kutsusin Omaka worked with them. No? So when I found that they were doing a project like this, I said, immediately said yes. So from research, we went to doing field work, and eventually they asked me to write articles and contribute some recipes also for the book. Next one. And then Blueprint Magazine came along. Judith Torres at the time is the editor. And because of the many articles that were coming out, she came to Iloilo together with their staff, and they decided to feature Iloilo in several special editions of Blueprint Magazine. And in one of the editions, we had an article written about how the ancestral house of the Babar family in northern Iloilo was going to give way to a national highway. So in a way, this was like a petition to stop the widening of the road, which is very, very successful. So this was already like the start of our militant action against, unbridled development. Next slide. And then that's another one. They started with more articles on Iloilo. I did another article on Samokin. And then 5 years later, they came back and they did another series. And they also wanted to find out what happened to all the article, the buildings in the articles that they wrote 5 years ago. And they were very impressed that so much was done in 5 years. The restoration of Angelicum, which they suggested in the previous years. Next slide, please. And then we have Clang Garcia. She's also not from Iloilo, but she decided to do a book on Philippine culinaria. And she came to Iloilo and then got in touch with many, many friends. And she was introduced to me and she asked me to write about Iloilo and Guimaras. And another friend, Boboy Posas, also did the article on Cebu. And fairly recently, the book also won an international award for being one of the best-selling books on culinary. And then Philippine Style, which was one of the last works of the photographer Luca Titoni when he came to Iloilo. So Luca Titoni did Thai Style, all these style magazine books. And when he decided to do the project with Elizabeth Reyes, he came to Iloilo, and I was the point man for Iloilo. I helped them with setting up for the photography sessions in many of the Ilonggo houses that were featured in the book. The book is still available, by the way. Next slide, please. And then the latest one. This was launched about 2 months ago. And this is the work of the great-granddaughter of the original owner of Polo Mansion. This is 5 years in the making, and this was before COVID. She came to Iloilo from London, and she met with me through introductions by common friends, and she asked me to help them out. So in the evening of our first meeting, I brought with me files that were used in another project. And it contained 12 large photographs of the house and interiors. And when she opened the album, the first large picture she saw was of her and her newly wedded husband in front of the Molo Mansion. So, off and on, we would see each other before and after COVID. And then later on, she decided to launch the book in Iloilo. The world launch was done here in Iloilo because it was easier to get all the homeowners from Negros and Iloilo to come and attend. It was like 150 guests, no, mostly of the old families came. So, as you can see, all of this, not hindi siya linear. Your development for heritage work is never linear. It's always back and forth. Sometimes the project gets stalled, or sometimes you think it's a goner. Then all of a sudden, it gets revived. So, kung ako sa inyo, never give up hope. Okay, there's always going to be something just around the corner. Thank you very much.